I never imagined it would reach this point. As the sound of my landlord's knock echoed through the hallway, a sense of inevitability washed over me. I realized I had exhausted all my alternatives. 3 months overdue on rent. There's no option for payment. There's no one to rely on. And then, he presented me with a proposition. A proposition I ought to have declined. However, I did not. Before we dive in, I invite you to take a moment to show your support by liking and subscribing. It requires just a moment, yet it significantly contributes to the channel's growth. Your support means a great deal to me. Let us commence. The sudden knock made me jump. My robe had fallen ajar, revealing my bare thigh, yet I was far too weary to mind. I pushed the door open. Mr. Harris lingered, his gaze sweeping over me. Measured and intentional. Julia, you are currently 3 months overdue on your rent. I wrapped my robe more snugly around myself. I understand, Mr. Harris, I require additional time. He entered the room, closing the door softly behind him. The atmosphere grew dense. His eyes held steady. It's unfortunate to witness someone like you facing difficulties, he said, his tone velvety. So stunning, yet so vulnerable. The warmth slithered across my skin. I'll come up with a solution, he murmured, shaking his head in resignation. Time won't cover the expenses, darling. I had exhausted all possibilities. Additional shifts. Taking. Reducing excess. Nothing sufficed. Just a little longer, please, I whispered. He observed me intently. Alternatively. Perhaps there's an alternative approach. My stomach nodded. There it stood. The hidden proposal, now laid bare. Could you clarify what you mean? Let's go, Julia. You're catching my drift. The space seemed more confined. The fabric of my robe seemed to grow more delicate. It's our little secret, he whispered. Only for your ears. I paused, my heart racing. He grinned, observing my discomfort. Your troubles can vanish with my help. I let out a shaky breath. There are no options available. There is no escape. Only him. Gradually, I inclined my head in agreement. His smile grew more profound. Then, he extended his hand toward the belt of my robe. Well done. Mr. Harris guided me into the bedroom, his hold steady yet relaxed. The atmosphere was dense, enveloping me as I crossed the threshold. The aroma of aftershave mingled with a deeper, more masculine essence that enveloped my senses in a comforting familiarity. He acted swiftly. Positioned at the brink of the bed, he unfastened his belt with a measured, intentional gesture. The gentle sound of metal meeting metal sent a chill down my spine. You understand the task at hand, darling. A tightness settled in my throat. I paused, my hands clenching into tight fists at my sides. His lips twisted into a blend of mirth and dominance. There's no need to be so taken aback, Julia. Do you recall that you agreed? A warmth, electric and nervous, coiled within my stomach. I took a deep breath, then sank down to my knees. His fingers wove through my hair as I leaned closer, enveloped by his warmth, his scent intoxicating me. I pressed my lips to his, moving with deliberate tenderness. He let out a sharp breath, his fingers gripping a bit more firmly, directing me. The noises he produced ignited an unforeseen excitement within me. It was unexpected, yet I found myself enjoying it. His breath grew deeper, his stance becoming more rigid. He was becoming immersed in it in me. A peculiar feeling of mastery welled up within me. Just as I discovered my flow, he suddenly withdrew. His breath came in fits and starts. He was on the verge of losing control. Climb on top, he urged, his voice heavy with desire. I complied, rising and positioning myself on the bed, my robe falling open as I settled over him. His hands quickly discovered my thighs, gliding over my skin, gripping as if he craved to experience every part of me. That's it, he whispered, his gaze fixed on me. I leaned in, positioning myself beside him. A sudden breath caught in my throat as I descended upon him. He let out a low groan, his fingers digging into my hips. You surpass my expectations in ways I couldn't have foreseen. I brushed aside the warmth that blossomed within me at his words. This was merely a transaction. Yet, as I began to shift, A profound wave of delight coursed through my being. My body turned against me, reacting with fervor, yearning for more. I bit my lip, maintaining a calm facade, yet within me, a heat coiled, a gradual fire igniting with each motion. "Go on, Julia. Embrace the moment with all your passion." His voice carried a tension, his hold steady as he led me forward. I followed his instructions, my steps hastening, my breath becoming erratic. Every movement sparked a new surge of feeling within me, complicating my efforts to feign disinterest in the pleasure I was experiencing. He grinned at me, as though he could see straight through my facade. "You enjoy this," he whispered. No, I deceived, my breath catching as I quickened my pace. His hold grew firmer, his form elevating to align with mine in flawless harmony. The tension between us intensified, becoming more profound and weighty. I tightened my jaw, striving to suppress any noise that could reveal my true feelings. "Continue," he snarled, his grip faltering. His gaze remained fixed on me, absorbing each shift, each silent response. I pressed my nails into his chest, clinging tightly as waves of pleasure surged within me, on the verge of overflowing. His breath caught, his body tightening under my touch. With one last tremor, he breathed out, his hands gripping me firmly as he reached his climax. I moved forward moments later, my body quaking from the sheer intensity. Yet I stifled my sounds, maintaining an inscrutable facade as I fell against him, my body still resonating with energy. For a moment, we simply rested there, our breaths deep and labored, skin moist and heated. Gently, I shifted away from him, perching at the edge of the bed. Silence was my response. Words were unnecessary. Yet, beneath the surface, I was aware of the reality. I relished every moment of it. And thus did he. I perched on the edge of the bed, wrapping my robe tightly around me, though it offered scant protection from what had already been revealed. The sensation on my skin lingered, my breath remained uneven. His gaze was fixed on me, observing, anticipating. "You caught me off guard, Julia." His voice flowed effortlessly, laced with a hint of amusement. "I was surprised to see you having such a great time." Warmth danced within me. I chose to overlook it. "It was merely a transaction," I whispered. He let out a soft laugh. "Of course, if that's the perspective you choose to hold." A profound stillness lingered in the air between us. I ought to have experienced shame, yet I remained unaffected. Not completely. A part of me had enjoyed it more than I was willing to confess. "I have another idea for you." I cast a fleeting look in his direction. "Could you clarify what you mean?" He reclined against the headboard, his shirt left undone, his expression a mystery. "This brought you joy. I understand you did, and there are men who would gladly spend a fortune for someone like you." I tensed up. "Surely, you must be kidding." "Absolutely not." He observed me intently. "You mentioned feeling like you've exhausted all possibilities, yet there are still paths to explore. This could be transformed into something remarkable, profitable." My breath caught in my throat. "This is quite distinct. It was merely..." I paused, as the words eluded me. "What exactly?" His smirk grew more pronounced. "Could you do me a small favor? Merely for amusement?" I averted my gaze, thoughts swirling in a tempest. I ought to have felt revulsion. However, I couldn't deny it. He was indeed correct. I found it quite enjoyable. Now, the idea of embarking on that journey once more, of feeling desired, of taking charge, of creating something from the void, no longer felt unattainable. "It's your choice," he said, rising to his feet as he fastened his shirt. "If you choose to agree, that's entirely up to you. I am aware of 2 gentlemen who would be willing to offer a generous sum for an evening in your company." A shiver coursed through my body. Not merely 1, but 2. I took a deep breath. It ought to have been a straightforward rejection, yet it proved to be anything but. "What is the cost?" His smirk grew broader. "Surpassing anything you've previously earned in a single evening." I breathed out gently, feeling my heartbeat thrum in my ears. On a fateful night, 2 men face a decision that has the power to alter their lives forever. I raised my chin and gave a nod. "Very well." Mr. Harris smiled, extending his hand toward his phone. "All right, I'll handle the call." The following evening, I found myself before the mirror, carefully adjusting my dress as it hugged my hips. Form-fitting, daringly cut, perfectly suggestive. Mr. Harris had chosen it himself, along with a pair of heels that accentuated my legs in a way I hadn't recalled before. I hardly recognized who I had become. My hands quivered just a bit as I fixed my hair. What made me feel anxious? My decision was already made. The point of no return had been reached. "You look perfect," Mr. Harris murmured from the doorway. His gaze lingered on me, deliberate and appreciative. "They will adore you." I took a deep breath, releasing it slowly through my nostrils. Who are those individuals? Companions? Those who are giving? He wore a sly grin. "Wish them a pleasant evening, Julia, and you'll find yourself free from the burden of rent forever." A gentle rap on the door. My breath was taken away. They had arrived. Mr. Harris's smirk grew more pronounced. "It's time to shine, darling." I faced the door, my heart racing as I grasped the handle. And then I unveiled it. Two men stood there, their eyes shadowed, faces inscrutable. And they stood by my side. I guided them into the room, my heart racing, every step heavy with expectation. The sound of my heels echoed gently on the floor, the atmosphere thick with a silent intensity. They trailed behind, their presence enveloping me. Two pairs of eyes, two men whose focus was entirely on me. I had consented to this. This is what I desired. Yet, there was an unsettling sensation within me. A moment of doubt, a glimmer of thrill. The taller figure, with broad shoulders and an air of confidence, was the first to extend his hand toward me. His hand rested at my waist, steady and intentional, his fingertips grazing softly, as if etching every curve into his mind. The other, more slender, with keen eyes and a silent demeanor, hovered just behind me, his breath warm against my shoulder, sending an unexpected shiver down my spine. "Let's handle this," the first whispered, his fingers gliding over the strap of my dress, playfully tugging at the fabric as he locked eyes with me. Gradually, the layers peeled back, the fabric cascading down effortlessly. Fingers traced, discovering, understanding, valuing. As the cool air caressed my skin, I leaned in, my fingertips gliding over the firm contours hidden beneath their garments, gauging their reaction with each delicate touch. Their gaze remained fixed on me, observing, anticipating. A gentle breath escaped from my mouth. There was an unwavering resolve. I aimed to provide them precisely what they had been anticipating. I proceeded with deliberate care, my fingers deftly navigating the fastenings of their belts, unfastening each one slowly, sensing the tautness that lay hidden beneath the layers separating us. Their breaths grew deeper, muscles moving under my exploration, warmth emanating from my touch. A soft sound emerged from the first man, a profound note of gratitude, as he gently lifted my chin, locking eyes with me in a way that was impossible to decipher. In that moment, he whispered, his tone silky, tinged with an unsettling depth. A well-known warmth coiled within me, a sensation that was both thrilling and perilous in the manner of their gaze upon me. Knees bent, movements intentional, I descended, fingers still clasped around them both, warmth enveloping my skin. One lingered close to my lips, a quiet beckoning, anticipating my choice. I moved closer, inviting him in, savoring the warmth, outlining his form with intentional precision. Above me, he took a deep breath, his fingers threading through my hair, leading me with the gentlest caress. The second man remained in my thoughts, my other hand devoted to him with equal care, playfully eliciting every response. His breath caught, fingers gliding along the curve of my jaw as he examined me, lost in each fleeting moment. Their shared presence, the subtle sounds they produced, the tension coiling in the air around us, it ignited a gradual, profound warmth unfurling within me. "That's it," one of them whispered, his voice laden, rich with contentment. In an instant, the words ignited a fresh wave of emotion within me. They allowed me to progress at my own rhythm, inviting me to delve deeper, encouraging me to immerse myself in their essence. Then, one of them leaned back a bit, clearing his throat as if to regain his concentration. "Approach," he instructed, his tone calm and unwavering. The journey is only beginning. I sank into the mattress, my breath irregular, my body vibrating with excitement. The taller figure settled between my legs, his fingertips tracing slow, intentional circles along my inner thighs, teasing and intensifying the tension. The other shifted closer, his hand gently grasping my chin, tilting my face toward him, his eyes capturing mine with a silent fervor. "Let's discover just how sweet you truly are," the first one whispered, his voice rich and tinged with a playful mirth. He descended slowly, his breath caressing my skin, and as the first spark of sensation coursed through me, a shiver ran down my spine. A sudden breath hitched in my throat as his lips roamed over me, his touch measured, intentional, and lingering. My fingers curled against the sheets, clutching them tightly as each movement sent another wave of sensation coursing through me. The second man drew closer, his mouth grazing mine before the kiss intensified, our lips melding together. I embraced him, allowing his warmth to envelop me, silencing the sounds that emerged from my throat as desire intensified between us. They moved in flawless harmony, one captivating me with his lips, the other pulling me further into the embrace, his fingers weaving through my hair, holding me near. "She's truly remarkable," one of them whispered, his tone filled with awe. I ought to have felt anxious, I ought to have paused. Yet I held back, yearning for something greater, and it was evident to them. They maneuvered me with ease, directing me, adjusting my stance as though they possessed an innate understanding of my requirements. At that moment, I found myself on all fours, my body quivering, alive with the lingering sensations of their touch. The second man, the one who had been observing, biding his time, remained composed until this moment, positioned himself behind me, his hands firm on my waist, anchoring me in place. "Are you prepared for what comes next?" he inquired, his tone subdued, aware. Before I could even gather my thoughts, he advanced, a deliberate and steady force that unleashed a profound, persistent warmth coursing through my being. My breath caught, fingers gripping the sheets as my body acclimated to his presence. He let out a soft groan, his hold on me firm, his movements measured and intentional, as if he were relishing each second. The initial figure stepped closer, his fingertips brushing against my jaw, urging my eyes to rise. "Allow me to sense your presence," he whispered. I opened my mouth, inviting him in, feeling the warmth of his body pressed against me, our breaths intertwining in a steady cadence. In that moment, he whispered softly, his thumb gliding over my cheek, his fingers weaving through my hair. They flowed in unison, each leading me, their cadence intertwining, one anchoring my body while the other held my gaze firmly on him. A soft sound slipped from my lips, the resonance causing the man before me to draw in a quick breath, his fingers tightening against my skin. Behind me, the second man shifted, his movements smooth and captivating, eliciting another gasp from me as a warmth blossomed deep within my core. "This brings you joy, doesn't it?" one of them whispered, a playful lilt in his tone, fully aware. I let out a soft whimper, my body revealing my inner turmoil, the truth clear in each movement and every sound. I truly enjoyed every moment of it. They were not done. They repositioned me, elevating and adjusting me effortlessly, directing me precisely to the place they desired. At that moment, I found myself positioned above the first man, his hands gripping my hips, anchoring me in place. Our eyes locked, a brief smile of contentment dancing on his lips. "Allow me to gauge your desire for this," he whispered, his hold firming slightly to keep me steady. A gentle exhale slipped from my mouth as I settled onto him, a profound warmth blossoming within me, the sensation sending another tremor coursing down my spine. His head reclined against the pillows, a soft groan escaping his lips as I shifted closer, yet the second man behind me was far from finished. His touch was the first sensation I registered, playful and probing, his fingers tracing the contour of my back, anticipating my response. A quick inhale escaped my lips, excitement twisting in my belly, a moment of doubt clashing with an even stronger desire. He leaned in closer, his breath warm and tantalizing against my ear. "Take your time," he softly said. "I'll lead you through it." I released a breath, feeling my body tighten and shift, slowly coming to terms with his advance. The tension between us grew, time elongating, our bodies moving in flawless harmony. "That's it," one of them sighed, just like that. I couldn't tell who had spoken. I found myself completely absorbed, swept away by the rhythm of their movements, the warmth of their touch, the softness of their breath, our bodies synchronizing in perfect harmony. They moved in harmony, one anchoring my hips, the other drawing nearer, their actions deliberate and measured. The tension grew gradually, coursing through me in ripples, my breathing quickening as the feeling wound itself more and more tightly. "You're remarkable," one of them whispered, his tone awestruck, imbued with a deep, unfiltered emotion. "Observe her," the other murmured, his fingers gliding along my spine, sending shivers through me, utterly entranced by the moment. I was unable to restrain myself any longer. The tension within me had reached its zenith, a final deep pull that unraveled me entirely. Warmth surged through my body in waves, followed by a sharp inhale from below, his fingers digging into my skin, his body tightening as his rhythm stumbled. A soft groan echoed behind me, his hand steadying my balance before he released it, moving right after. The moment lingered, suspended and boundless, before dissolving into a gentle embrace of warmth. The atmosphere grew still, with the sole sound being the gentle ebb and flow of our breathing. Ultimately, I was surprised by how much I appreciated it. I never anticipated desiring anything beyond what I had. Yet, at this moment, it occupies my thoughts incessantly. So, was I mistaken? Or was this precisely what I required? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you're eager for more tales like this, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Until we meet again.